What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at the UFC 310 main event, Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Asakura, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on this matchup. And more importantly, I'm going to be telling you guys why I think this is a massive mistake by the UFC in giving Kai Asakura Alexandre Pantoja the champion in his first UFC fight. I mean, don't get me wrong, Kai Asakura, the guy is an absolute stud. I mean, if you take a look at some of his fights before the UFC, you know the guy's the real deal. I mean, his striking is elite, and he is a massive star in Japan, which I think is more so the reason why the UFC is throwing him in the spotlight so early. They want to capitalize on the Japanese fans, and they want to try and build a market over there, and there's no better way to do that than by putting Kai Asakura in a potential title fight. Even if you look at his socials, the guy pulls in so many views, and he's clearly a massive star in the making. All he needs is the UFC strap to go to the next level. But that's going to be no easy task because he's fighting Alexandre Pantoja. Pantoja, in my opinion, is one of the most slept on dudes in the entire UFC. Nobody talks about this guy, and nobody talks about how elite he actually is. I mean, the guy has cleared out his division multiple times. He's beaten the likes of Brandon Royval twice, Brandon Moreno 3 times, and other insane contenders. The guy is a stud. He's good everywhere, and there's a reason he's still the champion. And time again, we see fighters from other promotions come to the UFC and struggle a little bit. Not that they don't win their fights, but it's a very difficult task. And to give a guy like Kai Asakura the champion in Alexandre Pantoja, who's beaten so many guys, it's going to be a big ask for him to go in there and get the job done. Especially with the new pressure being in the UFC, as well as the new rules. Like, Kai Asakura, a lot of the things he does is illegal in the UFC. I mean, you can't knee grounded opponents in the head. You can't kick people in the head like soccer kick people. It's just, there's stuff he does there that you cannot do here, and he's going to have to adapt and change his game plan. And he also is predominantly a striker, and you don't really see a lot of his work on the ground. And Pantoja, he's an elite grappler, and he's going to be able to take Kai down in this fight. I can almost guarantee you that. And people were getting a little confident because they saw a training video go around of Merab and Kai sparring, and Kai was defending a lot of Merab's takedowns. I mean, those were a lot of half-ass takedowns if you actually look at it, and that doesn't mean anything when you're looking at the actual fight and when things actually get real. And let's face it, the reason this fight is happening is number one, because Kai's a massive star in Japan, and number two, because you can't really sell any other fights for Pantoja at this point, especially now that you're in the main event. Like, you can't do Pantoja versus Royval again. It's a tough sell for the last pay-per-view of the year. It just really is, and there really is nobody else up on deck. Maybe you could have done Kai Kara France. You can't do Steve Erceg. You can't do Brandon Moreno. There's not a ton of options. There's a reason they went with Kai, and that's because he really is the only guy that makes sense at this point. Now, I don't want to completely discount Kai Asakura's chances in this fight, but honestly, I really do think it's going to be really tough for him. I mean, he's going to have to get a finish, in my opinion. I think that's the only way he wins this fight. I don't see him getting the better of Pantoja over 5 rounds, because Pantoja, he's been there before against elite guys. He knows how to control the pace, and he knows how to control the tempo of a 5-round fight. If he needs to strike, he'll strike. If he needs to wrestle, he'll wrestle. He doesn't care how he gets it done as long as he gets his hand raised. And over 25 minutes, especially if Kai's going to have to be worrying about the threat of a takedown, and especially if on that first takedown that Pantoja gets, he can't get back up, that's going to be really demotivating for him. So he may have to go in there and try and just swing and go for crazy shots that could end up having him get clipped and sat down. So it's an upwards battle for him to get the win here, because you're fighting such an elite guy in Pantoja, and I feel like he could have had another fight before this and then potentially have gone and fought for the belt. I don't like this at all for Kai Asakura, to be honest. I would like to see him win, to be honest, because it'd be interesting to see a different champion in the mix, but at the same time, Pantoja is so elite, and he's building such a great legacy for himself at 125 that this would be just another great name on his resume. Yeah, so for all those reasons, I am going to pick Alexandre Pantoja to win this fight. I'm going to say he gets it done either by submission or decision. I could see a sub here. I really could. But I'm not going to pick sub. I'm going to play it safe and go decision, because I think Pantoja, he's one of those guys that's never really hunting for the finish. I think he more so wants to have a good fight, put on a great performance, and then just get his hand raised at the end. So I'm going to take Pantoja to win via decision. I think this is a step up for Kai Asakura. It's coming a little bit too early. I understand why the UFC's doing it, but I still don't like the reasoning behind it. So give me Pantoja to win this fight. There you guys have it, though. Those are my thoughts on the UFC 310 main event. Let me know what you guys think, though. Am I being a little too harsh on Asakura? Am I right? let me know down below, and also let me know who you think's winning this one in the comments as well. Thank you all for watching this video. Be out on the lookout for other breakdowns coming this week as we get ready for UFC 310. So many amazing fights on this card to talk about, and I'm going to be breaking down a bunch of them. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.